If you aren't playing Sea of Thieves, it's time to reconsider the life choices that brought you to such a depressingly pirate-free existence. Okay, let's back up. After slowly falling out of love with some of my favorite games over the last year or so, I found myself in a bit of a rut when it comes to gaming. Not to say I didn't have plenty of things to play, but finding something that offers a wide range of unique and fun experiences day after day after day, without getting repetitive and boring, was no easy task, it turns out. In games industry. However, I have friends who are ruthless bullies when it comes to getting me into games I would otherwise ignore or had already written off as not worth the time. And as such, I was press ganged into Sea of Thieves 5 years after its initial launch. After an initial voyage with the boys, in which I understood nothing and enjoyed every second of it, I spent the next month sailing the seas so much that I managed to earn Pirate Legend in roughly 40 hours of gameplay, as well as 2 captain ships with legendary titles. No, not just the legendary rogue either. Okay, mostly legendary rogue, shut up. Of course, me being me, I did not record this. Any of it. Why, you ask? Because I'm a dumb fuck who didn't think he would get sucked in enough to have fun talking about Sea of Thieves. And yet, here we are. To say I was completely blindsided by just how fantastic this game is would be understating things to an astronomical degree, causing me to rack up something like 400 hours in 4 months. And given how much I like to share the good times with you wonderfully, insanely patient people, I thought it was important to offer a few good reasons why you should be playing Sea of Thieves today, in the year of our Pirate Lord, 2022. Charlie. Now this might seem like a strange way to start things out here, but you have to understand, this game has pets. And they genuinely make nearly everything better when you have one. Except maybe trying to hide on ships. Fuck off, Charlie. After having the game literally bought for me by people determined to get me into playing, discovering the existence of the various pets was somehow the spark that turned the fun I was having, even playing solo, into a roaring bonfire of genuine joy. Charlie is love. Charlie is life. He is my constant companion, and I will go to war with any pirate that messes with my monkey.
Someone shot.
Wait, did he shoot Charlie?
Why you not dead? I just hit you once. I hit you 3 times.
I'm a simple creature. Sue me. I mentioned this already, but one of the first things I spent my early earnings on was buying myself my very own captain ship. As any self-respecting pirate could expect, owning your own ship is a genuinely grand experience, which I was relatively surprised to learn is a new feature added just before I started playing, and I honestly can't imagine the game without it. There's something deeply satisfying about pacing the deck of your own persistent ship, decorated to your own tastes, either to flex your pirate cred, or to give it a personality to match your own. The milestones are pretty cool too, and add another set of goals to work toward, which is pretty important to those of us who fiend for that little dopamine rush of the achievement complete pop-ups. In spite of the art style leaning toward the very intentionally cartoonish side of things, and the pirate designs themselves all looking like various denominations of soggy, lumpy baked potatoes, the graphics in this game are somehow still absolutely stunning. It's very easy to get caught up just enjoying the experience of sailing through different types of weather or enjoying the views on an island when you first start roaming the seas, not to mention how shockingly good the lighting can be. My god. Speaking of sailing, while I certainly wouldn't go so far as saying the general physics or mechanics of the naval aspects of the game are good enough to qualify as an accurate simulation, it's probably as close as you're likely to get while still being what is, essentially, a family/party game that kids can still enjoy. The gun and cutlass mechanics are relatively shallow, though still fun, but there's a surprising amount of interactivity and depth to the sailing aspects of the game. Between pretty accurately generated waves based on the weather and nearby terrain, the way sailing through storms and rough seas is represented, and how an understanding of momentum, tacking, trajectory, and heading gives you a sincere edge over your foes. There is more than enough to hook fans of sailing and combat on the high seas. Easily, the best thing about Sea of Thieves, however, is simply the sandbox nature of the game itself. There's something for everyone. Whether you want to become part of an epic tall tale with some real characters, or seek out treasures both hidden and lost across dozens of beautifully unique islands, or if you just want to see the world burn as you hunt down and destroy everyone that crosses your path every time you set sail on the Sea of Thieves, you're pretty much always going to experience a new and exciting piratical adventure, even if it isn't necessarily the one you were planning on. You can also just go fishing, I guess. Sure, go nuts. From fighting rival pirates to fending off krakens, sinking skeletons, and solving riddles for buried treasure, Sea of Thieves is the pirate game I never knew I always wanted. And I truly regret not having jumped in sooner. You're probably going to see a lot more from my adventures in-game, so if that sounds like something you might be into, be sure to subscribe and all that other YouTubey stuff. And I hopefully will catch you next time.